All right. How you feeling in Duval? Like, that's what I want to know. Where are you at? Leave a comment on this video. Tell me where you're at. Then let me talk for a little bit and tell me where you're at after the video, because I think there's this belief a little bit that the sky is falling in Jacksonville. I just don't see it that way. I think that the loss is a bummer. I think it was hard. But if I can be completely honest, I also think it's not as bad as many of you think that it was. And that's exactly what we're going to talk in this video. But again, before we do that, we are Lions fans. You see the Old English D here for the Tigers. You see the line in the background. This is our second channel. We have another one called Sports Talk Detroit, but we love teams that the national media ignores. And so we wanted to make a channel that represented them. And so we love Jacksonville Jaguars content, and that's what we're talking about in today's video. So why is the Jags loss not as bad as you think? Okay, I have multiple reasons. Just hang with me here for the next few minutes, all right? So you can actually see Sports Talk Detroit. Forgot to change the background. I'll change it in the next one. You get your nice Sports Talk extra. Anyways, here's the deal. We are going against a team. Trevor Lawrence is banged up. The Browns are playing well, and I know it doesn't seem like it, but they had a hard-fought loss last week. Flacco actually just seemed to work. I made a video about how they found their quarterback, and that's exactly what they did. They also took advantage of a rusty Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence was getting really, really good. Here's what we know about Lawrence. He plays through injuries, but also sometimes it takes him a second, or he doesn't play extremely well while injured. And Cleveland blitzed you in the beginning, getting up early. I want to say it was 21-7 at one point. Then you came back. But the things that doomed you were turnovers, mostly by Lawrence, right? And that's okay. That's not a thumbs up, all right? That was me saying number one. All right, so number one, mostly by Lawrence and turnovers. Number two, because you were behind and got blitzed so fast, you had to rely on a guy with 1.5 feet, and you could not rely on your run game. So you ended up with 20 carries for only 58 yards. That was a big, big part of the struggle, and that I don't think that can go ignored. I really don't. So here's the deal. I don't think that you played as bad as most people believe that you did. Now let's look at other things that were happening while your team was busy losing. The Colts were busy doing something even worse, right? The Colts were getting blitzed by a backup quarterback with the Bengals. I know the Colts have a backup quarterback too, but the Bengals took them out to the woodshed, especially in the second half. That was shocking. I did not necessarily see that one coming. The Bengals look like a better offense without Joe Burrow right now, which just is weird. All right? Yes, you lost. I understand that. The Texans got shellacked, another team that we love talking about on this channel. Titans, don't matter. All right, so in a day where you lose a game that you obviously wanted to win, but was not an easy game to go on the road and win in Cleveland in the elements. It was not nice weather. All right, I'm not saying it was awful weather. In a game that you go and lose to the Browns, nothing changes. In fact, we talked already about the Colts. You're still a game ahead on the Colts. We already talked about the Texans. You're still a game ahead of the Texans. And the Chiefs lost. So not only are you still slated for a home field football game in the playoffs and have a 1-game lead, but your quarterback is getting healthier. You've got the Chiefs that also lost. They were playing the Bills. And the two teams in your division, the Colts and Texans, which are challenging you, both lost as well. Okay, so, and I honestly don't think that it stops there. I don't think that it stops there. So when you look at your continuing schedule, you've got Baltimore. I know that's a tough one, but it's a home game. Baltimore's offense was all over the place, but their defense started showing chinks in the armor against the Rams. Figure out what they did. You have a good coaching staff. You can mess around with that. All right. And then you go to Tampa Bay, which is just a nice little bus ride, right? Thank you, Carolina and Tennessee to end the season. So I'm telling you, with those remaining games, you're going to win 3 of them, which means if one of those other teams, or you should win 3 of them. You should win 3 of them. And the remaining teams that the Texans and the Colts, not only that, but the Texans are injured. They're so injured right now. And they didn't even lose necessarily because they're not good. They lost because of injuries. Nico Collins has that calf. I think it's the same calf. All right. CJ Stroud is being evaluated for a concussion. By the way, both players in one of my fantasy football teams, actually on 2 of them. Thank you. Just in time for the playoffs. This is not great for me, but it is good news for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So these are the things that I think you have to look at a little bit. You know, I don't think that everything has to happen in a vacuum. Oh, we lost. So no, this is the time of year where everybody is starting to lose a little bit. Like everybody is starting to lose just a little. All right, the Colts. Let's look at their remaining schedule. They have Pittsburgh. Ooh. All right, that's not good for you. Pittsburgh's been a dumpster fire as of late. All right, then they go to Atlanta. Tough game. All right, I know it sounds weird, but it is a tough game. They have Las Vegas and they have Houston. So Houston and Colts are going to play each other. All right, it's not possible for them both to go 4-0 down the stretch. It just isn't. So the only other thing that I'd want to do on here is I'd want to show you this. All right, the Texans are going to play Tennessee, but then they have to go, or not go, but they're going to have to play Cleveland, that team that just played you really tough, Tennessee again, and Indianapolis. So I'm not saying that their schedules are hard, because they're not, but you have a 1-game lead. You have a 1-game lead. You just need to take care of business against 3 teams that you should beat. That's what you have to do. You got Tennessee. You got Carolina. You got Tampa Bay. Those are teams that you should beat. And who knows what happens against the Ravens. Now the question is how fast can Trevor Lawrence get back to 90 to 100%? Because you need him. All right. Also, Trevor Lawrence, I saw this crazy stat when targeting Zay Jones and Ridley, he was like 33% and just awful. But when targeting everyone else, hello, Evan Ingram, great game, he was a monster. You know what that tells me? That tells me that Zay Jones was slightly injured going into the game. Trevor Lawrence was injured going into the game. And they simply did not get the reps. And it is a little bit more difficult to throw the ball to the outside when you're trying to push off a bad ankle, you're trying to get the arm power in there, and you're trying to figure out what they're doing. So another week of getting healthy, a week of being able to practice together again, get that timing back, and good things will absolutely happen for the Jags. All right, hope you enjoyed this video. The sky is not falling. You are still in the driver's seat to be a playoff team. That's what you want. You want to get to the dance, and you want, if you can, to have a home playoff game. It would have been nice to have 2. You were looking like you were at the top of the entire AFC a little while ago, but come on. There's a lot of good teams in the AFC. Just get in the dance and see what you can do and be healthy. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.